Sid and Gordon were looking for a little romance away from the rat race and found themselves stranded on an island that wasn't quite deserted.
We come in peace.
A paradise where their fantasies could become real.
Take your clothes off.
What? I can help you.
You already have. Jungle Jim has only one thing on his mind, and it's not monkeys.
Maybe too real. Gregory Harrison, Lisa Hartman, and Mark Lynn Baker are getting down to the bare essentials next Tuesday.
This is the best vacation I've ever had.
Wednesday.
Billy Ranfield is now scheduled to sit in the electric chair tomorrow night.
A death row inmate has a final request.
He wants me to watch his execution.
And Kelby must go on the toughest story of her life.
I wish somebody would give me a hug.
I hereby order your execution.
WIOU. It's round 2 in Hagman versus Eden.
Ewing all belongs to me, heart and soul.
Terrible tragedy to lose what you love the most. But you'll get over it.
On Dallas, then the same family.
You were never around when I was a kid.
Different perspectives, different memories.
I was not a bad father.
On Sons and Daughters, it all happens Friday.
This is CBS.
I need a diet that can shift gears when I do.
Try the new Personal Choice program from Weight Watchers. It's our easiest program ever.
My life's so crazy. I need a diet that thinks for me.
Personal Choice can do that too. It's even easier to follow. So call Weight Watchers today and try our exciting new program.
Half price, only $15 to join Weight Watchers' new Personal Choice program. Call now for a meeting near you. Hurry, offer ends January 31st.
Rush in to save an extra 25% off selected previously reduced winter fashion at Mansour's, now through Saturday. Mansour's, LaGrange, and Columbus.
Christian Brando charged with mindless murder, his sister Cheyenne in a mental institution, and Marlon Brando in the center of it all.
There should be Marlon with his hands cuffed, not my son.
The complete story, Bloodshed at Brando's.
Wednesday night at 7, 6 Central on TV3. This is WRBL TV3 in Columbus, Georgia. Live from the studios of WRBL, this is Newswatch 3, the 11 o'clock report.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Last-minute political posturing by the White House could break the deadlock between Iraq and the United States. CBS News correspondent Randall Pinkston reports tonight that both sides are sending communication signals.
Ago, before the January 15th deadline for Iraq to withdraw from Kuwait, President Bush summoned his top military and foreign policy advisors to the White House for a New Year's night strategy session on the Gulf, amid new signals of flexibility on a possible meeting date with Saddam Hussein. For weeks, Mr. Bush has insisted that January 3rd is the latest Secretary of State James Baker would be sent to Baghdad. But today, a White House official insisted the administration never categorically stated that meetings would not be held after the 3rd. And Baker is likely to travel to the Gulf in the next several days to consult with allies. Still, there is no let-up in the administration's hardline public message to Saddam. Today, Vice President Dan Quayle delivered it as he wrapped up a 3-day visit with troops in the Gulf.
This year, 1991, Saddam Hussein will leave Kuwait. We hope he'll choose to leave peacefully, but if necessary, he'll be made to leave by force.
Returning to Washington tonight, Iraq's ambassador said his country is willing to talk.
We wanted to have a dialogue. We always wanted to have a dialogue. We always wanted to talk. We always wanted to arrive at peace through negotiation.
Around the world today, fear of war and hope for peace filled New Year's messages. Pope John Paul II told a crowd in St. Peter's Square that he hopes 1991 will be a year of peace in the Mideast. And Soviet President Gorbachev, in a New Year's message to the U.S., sounded the same note. White House officials insist the strategy meeting here shouldn't be seen as anything urgent. But the fact that Mr. Bush brought his strategy team together tonight does signal that time is running out, and points up the fact that if a diplomatic breakthrough is to be found, it has to happen soon. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, the White House.
Iraq isn't the only enemy for U.S. troops in the Gulf. The change in weather conditions there is another thing U.S. soldiers have to worry about. One major culprit is the wind, which at the very least can blow sand into the equipment and, at the worst, cripple U.S. strike force plans by impairing the performance of weapons.
You don't have to really be an artilleryman to figure out that if the sandstorm's got visibility reduced down to a half mile, then you're only going to be able to get to engage targets as far as you can see.
We'll be looking mostly at winds from the north through the next couple of months.
The weather is expected to grow colder and windier, with the rainy season set for February. And there's been another American casualty in Saudi Arabia. The U.S. Central Command says an American soldier is dead, the result of an apparent suicide. Now, the man, who was with the 101st Airborne Division, is believed to have shot himself with his M16 rifle. The soldier's identity is being withheld pending notification of the next of kin. He is the 6th U.S. serviceman to die in accidents in the Persian Gulf region since Saturday, and the 53rd overall. Many of our U.S. troops probably could have thought of better ways to ring in the new year than spending time on the Saudi Arabian desert, but the soldiers' morale still seems to be good. Newswatch 3's Sam Hall is with Fort Benning Unit Station in the Middle East. We talked with him earlier today, and he tells us the soldiers' ingenuity made the holiday a little more fun.
We saw today that was real interesting. This New Year's Day here in the Saudi desert is a 9-hole golf course laid out by 2 sergeants with the 1st Battalion 18th Infantry, which is part of the 197th. They've laid it out, and it's become somewhat of a country club for the troops, and they play with sand wedges, and instead of having a green and a hole to shoot for, they use boxes. So it's real interesting, and that's something we're going to have a nice story about when we get back.
Sam will be in Saudi Arabia for a few more days. He says he'll bring back news from as many local units as possible. Columbus native and former Iraqi hostage Miles Hoffman says he'll fly to the nation's capital tomorrow. Hoffman says he has an open plane ticket, so his stay in Washington could be a long one. His concern, the Gulf crisis. Hoffman says he'll join a group called Friends of Kuwait. Together, they'll lobby before Congress.
I think Congress has to take a stand. They've been doing a lot of debating, and a lot of the congressmen have said, look, it's time for us to put the debating to the side and say whether we're in favor of what Bush's policy is or if we're against it. The Middle Eastern world probably is looking at this infighting, if you would, among Congress, and they're confused. They think, Saddam probably thinks America but does not have the will to fight at this point because it's not a consensus. And of course, he has it easy because in Iraq, there's a consensus of 1.
Hoffman was released back in November by his captors. You'll recall he took a bullet in his arm in September while trying to escape. And still to come on Newswatch 3, new taxes for the new year. And New Year's resolutions. Who's making them? Who's keeping them? More news is ahead. Stay with us.
Happy holidays from your friends at Hair Designs at Peachtree Mall, Bellwood Connector, Harmony Place, Phoenix City, and the new School of Cosmetology.
Happy holidays!
Second chance to get Golden Advantage rebates. The sales spectacular has been extended. Your Chrysler Plymouth dealers are out to slash their inventories, so they're giving fantastic deals on everything in stock. Plus, $500 Golden Advantage cashback on Plymouth Voyager, America's best-selling minivan. And save $300 on Voyager LE options. But hurry, the sales spectacular lasts only a few more days.
King Chrysler Plymouth in Valley, Alabama at exit 77 off Interstate 85.
Is he always this polite?
Thank you. You're welcome.
On the next People's Court, when these boys went in to buy some beer, did the convenience store clerk try to sell them a knuckle sandwich?
Mr. Naragi from behind the counter reached over and tagged me using his left arm and smacked me in the neck.
What did they say to make him sizzle?
Mr. Naragi came at me and tackled me.
Things get really hot.
I'm going to get you.
On the next People's Court.
Wednesday at 9 a.m., 8 Central on TV3.
Many Americans don't have regular health checkups, so diseases with hidden symptoms may go undetected until it's too late. If it's been more than a few years since your last physical, make an appointment today. A message from the American Osteopathic Association, physicians concerned about your family's total well-being.
A fire on New Year's Eve destroyed the home of Talbotton Police Chief Riley Smith. Talbotton Mayor Guy Persons would not comment on the cause of the midnight fire, only saying it was under investigation. Mayor Persons also refused comment on whether the fire was connected to Smith's undercover work last summer that yielded several drug arrests. And the long New Year's Eve holiday period comes to an end at midnight tonight, and so far the holiday death toll on highways has been better than expected in Georgia and Alabama. Georgia state troopers have predicted 21 people would die on the highways, but officials say there were just 11 deaths. In Alabama, authorities had forecast 13 would be killed on highways in that state, but so far only 5 traffic casualties. Wealthy Americans probably aren't too thrilled with the onset of this new year when it comes to taxes. Along with the rich, the people who will be feeling the tax hike the most are those who find their enjoyment in a pack of cigarettes and a 6-pack of beer. Hard liquor will be up $1 per gallon, and cigarette smokers will have to pay 25% more to support their habit. According to one local convenience store clerk, most customers stocked up yesterday to beat the increase.
They would buy cases even. We did have a few that did buy cases. Normally they would come in, they'd buy 1 bottle or 2 a week, and here they come in and they bought a case. Which we did have a few surprises.
Americans also will have to shell out more for luxury items such as boats, cars, and furs. The new taxes are all part of the government's solution to the country's huge deficit. A recent 2-year study of about 200 New Year's resolvers show that less than half were able to stick to their promise after a week. And as Newswatch 3's Ken Smith found out today, it's an old-age tradition that still lives on.
It's that time for the annual resolutions, and although some of us are guilty of slipping up on occasion, sometimes as soon as halftime of the first college bowl game, we still religiously make that pact with ourselves.
My New Year's resolution is to stay in shape and look this good. I'm getting ready to graduate from boot camp and get ready to go over to Saudi.
What about you?
Haven't made any. I break them every year, so I don't make them.
She's not alone in that instance. While it is a tradition to turn over a new leaf to stay in step with the new year, some folks think a new date doesn't really have anything to do with changing one's habit.
I don't think I want to change a thing about my life. I like it just as it is.
I always have these good intentions, but as far as writing them down and saying I'm going to stick to it, I don't often do that.
Still, though, year in and year out, promises will be made, if only for the tradition of it.
I didn't finish my diet last year, so I'm going to try again this year. And then I'm going to be a lot kinder than I said I was last year.
Yeah, to lose a little weight and to be a little bit more kinder to my fellow man.
Oh. How successful do you think you're going to be at this?
Real successful. I'm pretty determined.
You know, there's something about the dawning of a new year that somehow seems to ignite perseverance in most of us. Unfortunately, as that new year gets old, so do our resolutions, and they end up falling by the wayside. But I think we can take heart in knowing there's always next year. Ken Smith, Newswatch 3.
Well, I hope weather-wise what happened today, the first day of 1991, isn't a prelude of what's going to be coming, ahead for us for a while.
It could be a prelude to the rest of the week because it looks like clouds are going to hang around. 1990 was such a dry year for most of South Georgia anyway. North Georgia got a little rain, but South Georgia been really dry, and it looks like some help is on the way. 91 is starting off pretty wet. We'll tell you all about that coming up with the forecast.
At Arby's, variety makes the difference. Right now, enjoy Arby's 99-cent roast beef and Swiss sandwich. Lean, slow-roasted beef topped with zesty Swiss cheese for only 99 cents.
Is he always this polite?
Thank you. You're welcome.
On the next People's Court, when these boys went in to buy some beer, did the convenience store clerk try to sell them a knuckle sandwich?
Mr. Naragi from behind the counter reached over and tagged me using his left arm and smacked me in the neck.
What did they say to make him sizzle?
Mr. Naragi came at me and tackled me.
Things get really hot.
I'm gonna get you.
On the next People's Court.
Wednesday at 9 a.m., 8 Central on TV3.
Pesticides, overpopulation, chemical dumping,
acid rain,
overgrazing, prolonged drought, toxic waste. A plague stalks our wetlands. Only you can prevent. Support Ducks Unlimited.
Lincoln makes driving a town car for only $399 a month as easy as pie. Get $1,300 cash back with a 24-month Ford Credit red carpet lease. Then apply that cash toward your down payment. Refundable security deposit and first month's payment or keep it. You wouldn't buy a whole pie if you only wanted a piece, so why pay for a whole car if you only want 2 years' worth? A 24-month lease on town car, just $399 a month, easy as pie, and it's just around the corner. Get a lease on luxury at your Lincoln Mercury dealer today.
To get a Super Bowl ring, I had to listen to this. To get a Super Bowl pin, I had to listen to this.
Your Hardee's Super Bowl combo and a free Super Bowl pin.
That's right, the complete set of NFL commemorative Super Bowl pins is only at Hardee's. 25 in all to celebrate the Super Bowl silver anniversary. So a ring or a pin, you make the call.
Officially licensed Super Bowl pins, $2.99 when you buy a Coca-Cola product, or free with a Turkey Club combo or any Super Bowl combo.
Only at Hardee's.
Well, I certainly hope your New Year's spirits and your New Year's celebrations haven't been dampened by this rain. One thing that has been dampened is the soil, which in a way is good news. We can kind of look on the bright side of this weather. It's a good start to 91 because it's nice to get abundant rainfall at this time of the year. We can replenish our groundwater supply, and that in turn can also lead the way to maybe some better crops, especially for South Georgia where, boy, it was a real dry 1990. Well, let's see what's happening in Columbus at 11 o'clock. We've got cloudy skies with a little fog out there. Temperature is 43 degrees. The humidity is 93%, and the winds are from the east at 10 miles per hour. The pressure is 30.35 inches of mercury. That is falling. Our low this morning was 41 degrees, kept down to 47 by that cool layer of air at the Earth's surface. There are the normal averages. We did get 7/10 of an inch of rain here in Columbus, so that's pretty beneficial. A good way to start the year with rain anyway. And some parts of South Georgia, as a matter of fact, Fort Gaines, just to the south of Columbus, got about 1.5 inches today, so that's good news for folks there. Well, here's the kind of temperatures we have coming in across the region at 11 o'clock. 42 from Macon, 41 from Atlanta, a lot of cool air over most of the southeast, 47 from Albany. It's a little bit warmer at Panama City with 54. Mobile's coming in at 49 degrees, 49 from Dothan, 46 Montgomery, 48 up in Birmingham, just slightly warmer when they didn't get too much precipitation today, even had a little sunshine in North Alabama. Savannah on the eastern side of Georgia is coming in at 46 degrees. Well, we've had a little stationary front that had stalled out across the southeast. Take a look at the satellite image and you can kind of see where most of that is. Kind of still lingering about South Georgia, North Florida, cutting up the coast of the Carolinas. You notice where all the bright white cloud tops are at this hour? Well, mostly in South Carolina and in southeastern Georgia up the Carolina coast. That's where most of the precipitation is falling now. Most of the rain moved across South Georgia in that fashion. We do have another patch of clouds over lower Mississippi Valley and into South Alabama. Mostly that is fog and drizzle and some very light precipitation. Here's where we're picking up most of the rain at this hour. Again, southeast Georgia, up the east coast of the Carolinas and North Carolina, South Carolina. Pretty good steady rainfall that is falling. It's also a cool rain because there's a cold layer of surface air trapped up there. Down in this area of south and central Alabama into central Georgia, this is mostly fog and drizzle that is being picked up by radar. As the radar beams scan the surface, they do have a tendency to pick up fog and drizzle, so that's not really a heavy patch of rain that is headed our way, just the mist that is out there. We do have another little band of showers popping up in Texas, also in Louisiana. Here's the way things look on the surface map. When we draw everything in, position it, we have a low-pressure cell over North Florida. It was out in the Gulf of Mexico earlier today, kicking up a lot of moisture into South Georgia, South Alabama, so we had pretty good rainfall amounts. The low has tracked over to the northern part of Florida, moving closer to the Atlantic Ocean. It's eventually going to skirt off to the east and take most of those showers with it. But we're still going to have probably a little bit of a rain chance around tomorrow and tomorrow night because of another patch of rain building over the Gulf Coast. Most of this is going to slowly move to the east. Also, a cool front that is coming into Missouri right now, that may also bring with it some cloudiness tomorrow, so we might get kind of sandwiched in between those two weather systems. Well, here's what the jet stream is working on right now. The trough that has developed over the U.S. is up in the Midwest, so the cold air can only go about as far south as the jet stream will allow it. And that means about as far south as Iowa, the Great Lakes, the northern plains. Most of the cold air is going to stay there. We're not going to see that drop of Arctic air like we had the last couple of weeks. Warm, moist air is going to stay over the southeast for the next day or so. Eventually, we're looking at some dry air from the Pacific. Probably will be pulling over here by this weekend. That may give us a chance for a pretty good Saturday and Sunday. Here's the way it's going to look on the surface for tomorrow. The cool front's going to hit North Alabama. That will bring with it probably some clouds, but our rain chance will be lingering around as that stationary front sort of sits about there. The low pressure cell, as you see, will skirt up the east coast, bringing some rain with it to some of the port cities on the eastern seaboard, but generally in the southeast, our rain chances will be with the stationary front. Let's go to the forecast for Columbus tonight. We're looking at cloudy skies with probably some fog and drizzle. Maybe some occasional rain and some light patches of drizzle. Northeast winds 5 to 10 and our low of 40 degrees. For tomorrow, it looks like we're going to have mostly cloudy skies. Probably not as much of a rain chance. Winds should shift to the northwest at 5 to 10. Our high will be 62 degrees. For tomorrow night, it looks like cloudy skies again. A slight chance of rain as some more Gulf moisture sort of works its way into the area. North winds at 5 and a low of 45 degrees. Now, extended forecast for Thursday, mostly cloudy skies. We just kind of can't break the clouds out of the south. It's going to be 57 in the daytime, 42 overnight. And moving into Friday, partly cloudy. Let's hope for a little sunshine by then. High of 58 and a low of 45 degrees.
Yes, let's do hope for some sunshine.
In a way, it's bad to start the new year with rain because it kind of gets you in a bad mood, but we could use precipitation, and so I guess some farmers are happy anyway.
Okay, thanks a lot, Chris. The stork had a busy night last night, delivering the first newborns for 1991. Our Julia Robbie shared in the joy of both families today. We understand we have some technical difficulties with that tape. We'll move on. The flap going into this year's Fiesta Bowl centered around Arizona voters rejecting a Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Well, this year's Fiesta Bowl halftime activities in Tempe, Arizona featured a tribute to the civil rights leader, including clips of some of his most memorable moments during the civil rights movement in the 1960s. I understand we do have that tape now about the 2 newborn babies from 1991. Let's take a look at it.
Well, we finally made it into the year 1991, and if last night's New Year's babies are any reflection of what sex will dominate the year, it will probably be of the male gender. This year, the Valley area had 2 New Year babies, both boys. The first was born in Martin Army Hospital at Fort Benning to Mrs. Raulene Rivera. John N. Cabib was born at 12:08 a.m., pretty close to hitting it right on the dot. He weighs 6 pounds and 10 ounces. And for the Riviera family, John Ann's birth came as a nice surprise.
I was just glad he came, and he was here, and he's healthy. And they told me that the station wanted to come and talk to me, and I'm like, why? And then it still didn't sink in. I'm like, yeah, he is the first New Year's baby. I thought somebody else would have him like 10 seconds later or something.
Well, I was praying a lot, I know. It was. And, I don't know, I guess thrilled.
Not too long after John N. made his entrance into the world came along 7 pounds, 7 ounces, Darius Marquis Streeter of Columbus. Darius was born at the Columbus Medical Center at 2:35 this morning to Stephanie Gunn. If there were ever a proud mother and a grandmother, it would have to be Darius's.
My baby was due on Christmas, and after Christmas, it was due on Christmas Day, but after Christmas Day, I said, well, since I know I ain't had a Christmas baby, I hope I had a New Year baby. I kind of figured he was going to come on New Year's, though.
How does it make you feel to have a grandson that's a New Year's baby?
Ooh, I couldn't breathe. And I feel real good about it, real proud. I really do.
With experts estimating that raising a child until the age of 18 cost into the millions, the parents of these 2 bundle of joys will have their work cut out for them. Julia Robbie, Newswatch 3.
Georgia Tech doing some celebrating today, but also kind of on pins and needles there.
Celebrating, but watching the Orange Bowl, I'm sure, trying to find out if they're going to win the national championship. We'll try to clear up the picture for you. Sports is straight ahead.
It's the biggest event of the year, the grand finale at your local Ford dealer. With special low 4.8% financing on Ford Escort for a limited time, or $500 cash back. Plus over $1,000 in option savings from Ford on Taurus and Thunderbird. Over $2,000 on Mustang. And year-end deals could save you even more. See for yourself. The grand finale, the big finish, now through January 1st. Hurry, see your local Ford dealer now. Quality people, quality products.
Hello again, everyone. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets have done all they can do. After 12 games, no team could beat them. But the pollsters may beat them yet. This afternoon, the Jackets put together a precise resume for a national television audience, flexing their muscles for the AP voters, the fans, and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. 22 yards out, Sean Jones rolls left, finds Emmett Merchant in the end zone, 14-0 Tech, but the beating is just beginning for Nebraska. The Jackets still aren't done. First and goal at the 2-yard line. Jones with the perfect pass lays it out nicely for his wide open fullback William Bell. It's 21-0 in the second quarter. Nebraska makes a little noise in that period. Derek Brown on the draw, 50-yard foot race that he is going to win against Ken Swilling. He's a true freshman It's 21-14, Tech 24-14 at the half. Second half, Tech would not be denied. Jones play action, rolls left, scampers in all alone, 31-14 Jackets. Then with the run of the game, it's William Bell. He had 127 yards rushing, most of them on this play. Look at the great second and third effort, and he's gone 57 yards, and look at his effort to get into the end zone. Oh, you gotta love it. Tech blows out Nebraska 45-21. Tech finishes 11-0-1, but they still may not win the national title. Let's go to the locker room and find out what they think.
Close to angry. I think we're the only undefeated team in the country, and we deserve to be number one. A couple years back when BYU was undefeated, and they beat Michigan, you know, they were number one.
I mean, that's an important thing to us, but at the same time, there's a lot more important things than that in this world, and I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, but I do feel like we deserve it. I really do.
Well, now Tech players and fans turn their attentions to Miami and the Orange Bowl between Notre Dame and Colorado. Georgia Tech needs Notre Dame to win so that the path will be cleared to the top spot, and Coach Ross can get a little sleep. A Colorado win gives the Buffaloes the national title, and right now Colorado is hanging on by a thread. 10-9 in the fourth period. The Fighting Irish had an extra point blocked. That's the difference right now. They also had a field goal that hit the upright and bounced away. Colorado just had a field goal of their own blocked, but they still lead 10-9 early in the fourth quarter. Well, this has not been a very pleasant New Year's Day for the Southeastern Conference. Not only did the league struggle to win, but the league struggled to show up for its games. An Alabama fan from the Newswatch 3 newsroom, who shall remain nameless, was quoted as saying, "Our defense played awful. Our offense played worse." Louisville may have had something to do with that. And this is not the right tape. This is the Gator Bowl, but I'll catch up. This is Elvis Gerbach dropping back to pass against Ole Miss. This is one of the SEC teams that struggled because of plays like that. Billy Brewer has had better days this season. Rebels didn't make many mistakes this year, but they did today. Here, Tom Luke on the option, and he will get hit, fumble it away. Michigan recovers at midfield. 2 plays later, Elvis Gerbach, the Michigan quarterback who threw for 4 touchdown strikes today, will connect for 1 here. Desmond Howard will be the receiver, and look at this nice move. And he's going to turn on the afterburners, folks. He's gone 21-3, as we mentioned. Elvis Gerbach with 4 touchdown passes. Michigan rolls 35-3. Now let's see if we can't take a look at those Alabama highlights from the Fiesta Bowl in Tempe, Arizona. Howard Schnellenberger had his team prepared as we go to the Fiesta Bowl in Tempe, Arizona. We hope. There it is. Schnellenberger had this guy, his strong-arm quarterback, Browning Nagel, on target to Latrell Ware, 70 yards. On this play, Alabama came into the game with the #1 passing defense in the country. It didn't take Nagel long to figure it out. 20 of 33 for 3 touchdowns, 451 yards passing. Here he finds his favorite receiver, Anthony Cummings, 37 yards, a great play there by the goalpost, but he held on. Then the special teams get in on the act. They will block a Bama punt. It will be recovered by Ray Buchanan. Touchdown Louisville Cardinals, and a cakewalk over Alabama, 34-7. Well, Miami came into today's play ranked 4th in the country. It would take an impressive Cotton Bowl performance against Texas to keep the Hurricanes in the championship picture. Well, they got that impressive performance, but I don't think it's going to be good enough because of how good Tech looked today. Miami over Texas 46-3. Craig Harrison for the Hurricanes goes to the air. He's got Carroll from 27 yards away. That's a touchdown. Now the beating is on. Even the defense wants to get in on the act. Gardere back to pass for Texas. He will be picked. Darren Smith heading to the house with that one. Miami rolls in the Cotton Bowl 46-3. Let's go to your board. As we showed you, Citrus Bowl highlights. Georgia Tech beats Nebraska 45-21. Now the Jackets must wait. Gator Bowl, Michigan over Ole Miss 35-3. The Rebels finish a solid 9-3, but a disappointing way to end the Cinderella season. Cotton Bowl, the most lopsided one in Cotton Bowl history. Miami flexing its muscles near the end of the year. Clemson destroys Illinois in the Hall of Fame Bowl 30-0. Fiesta Bowl, Louisville shocks Alabama 34-7. Rose Bowl was a wild one. Iowa jumped out to Washington jumped out to a big lead. Iowa tried to come back, but Washington wins 46-34. Sugar Bowl, Virginia leads Tennessee as the Southeastern Conference continues to struggle. 16-3, they have just entered the 4th period of play. And the Orange Bowl, as we were telling you about, Colorado leads 10-9 in the 4th, and that is something that Georgia Tech fans are waiting for. The poll will be out early tomorrow morning. We will let you know.
All right. Thanks a lot. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
It's the biggest event of the year, the grand finale at your local Ford dealer. With special low 4.8% financing on Ford Ranger for a limited time, or $1,000 in cash back. Plus, over $1,000 in option savings on Ford Explorer, over $2,000 on F-150. And year-end deals could save you even more. See for yourself. The grand finale, the big finish, now through January 1st. Hurry, see your local Ford dealer now. Quality people, quality products.
He brings out the beauty from within. Even on my worst days, he makes me feel beautiful.
He has the gift of capturing beauty through the eye of his lens and works his magic on Geraldo's audience.
It's a talent.
The man who photographs the most famous faces in the world, Francesco Scavullo, on the next Geraldo.
Wednesday at 4 p.m., 3 Central on TV3.
That's our news for tonight. We thank you so much for joining us. As we said all through the newscast, Sam is on special assignment, but tomorrow night, Jeb Bowl, I believe, will be sitting in here. From all of us here at Newswatch 3, we hope you have a very happy New Year. So good night, and thanks for joining us.